Where's your ass all the way over here somewhere? I don't even know. Built like Becky today. Oh my god. My wig almost fell off. Went to the booth like it don't look like. Oh motherfucker. Y'all, I can't dance that much. The fuck's in my motherfucking mouth. Oh my god, Vixie's in here. Hey, I Vixie. Now I remember why. I can't. Y'all get the mayonnaise pasta. It's homemade.
I have no clue what I watch. I really have no clue. I'm just looking at this like, so you think this is? I legit don't know what I was watching. A guy dressed up as Emerald and Reed. Um, nothing is real. Nothing is real. This is just all a dream. This is all just a dream. This is just a nightmare that God has created. Let's move on. Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
Lady Lala saying, Becky, stay on the diet. Roxy, drink some protein and relax a little. Okay, here's the thing.
Too much protein, actually.
I'm actually a little
hot in here.
Oh, that's because you're here. I'm actually a little sad that I'm stepping back my medication because I'm not going to lie, that weight loss was really fun. It was very encouraging, but...
But Becky, you'll still lose it, though. It just won't be as rapid and you won't be as sick because you're losing it in a bad way to where everyth's coming up and you have no vitamins. You're going to be lacking everything.
I know, and I figure, look, if it was weird because I was taking like the 15 milliliter or whatever it is version, and there's like another version between like at 12 and then there's another version at 10. If you take the 12 version, it costs just as much as the 15 version, which is
damn. Thick Gemini,
thank you for gifting the 20.
Thank you so much.
By the way, guys, if you have not been watching Thick Gemini, please do check him out. As you can tell, he is.
So the BBU little stream was interesting mostly because part of it was them kind of roasting Becky. There was stuff dealing with Roxy that may or may not affect how the BBU is going forward. I'm going to be real. I think at some point when Roxy left and it was just Savage and Becky, you could kind of tell that like she just didn't want to be there anymore. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe people who watch it more closely than I do can correct me. I did feel that Savage did not want to be there with Becky, and she just wanted to leave. Now, eventually, Becky will get into the LCU stuff. Well, obviously, we'll get into. I guess he took what Keemstar said about her kind of very personal and very offended, which eventually would lead her to look into the numbers of the LCU, which it's funny because I've looked into their numbers as well. I guess an eye for an eye in this situation. I really don't know. I mean, with a 4-hour stream, so you know, if you want to just pure Becky stuff, go for it. I mean, they got pretty high views after having a couple of days off, but hey, good for them. I'm not gonna hate on that. Good for them. But I would say that them kind of shitting on the LCU, it's a little too late. I felt that it was a little too late. It was a little past that point, past their honeymoon. Maybe they felt that now was the time. There was nothing to hold them back, but the initial audience that probably would have been there and this right from the beginning are not there. Right? They got around like 600, close to 700 views. But just like it's been said, that probably not going to keep going on for long. And it may just, as always, teeter off. And eventually, even if she does shit talk the LCU, like how long if people are going to be there? That only can last so long. It sort of reminds me of what Nightmare said, that the yelling and screaming and shit talking can only last so long at any given time, and that's actually fair.
Foundation will fall apart, but for those who build the solid foundation, our wishes will be granted. That is the message I got. And so right now I am all about shoring up our foundation. We had to hit the ground running fast. We're running now, but now we have to make it stable enough before we keep building, which is why I need some people who might be okay not getting money immediately, because I know there's only so much to go around. And I do that to be protective because I want the people who work with me to know that I'm never going to spread their money too thin. You know, that was a big issue and point of contention in the LCU. Lebrowski is that dude. He's fucking awesome. He's so fucking good. Biggie Swole says, Becky, I'm proud of you for building this channel and getting this far. Keep it up. Thank you so much. And Cece, it's good to see you here. Well, guess what, guys? We have a bit of time left. I'm feeling chatty. I'll stay. So if there's any questions you want to know, let me know. And there was something I was going to pull up.
No, I would say that throughout this stream, I think Becky made a certain point that I may have to agree on no matter what. But at the same time, given who Becky is. But I'm just going to just be very honest. As I was watching this stream, it went on about going at the LCU with Valid since he worked there. Also, it was also part of it. Doesn't really matter what I say from here onwards because I know that a lot of the BBU fans don't probably like me as a whole. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of their hosts don't like me, and I just don't give a shit. How I feel about the LCU, the same thing. I'm very honest about that. But nevertheless, right, I think that he did make certain points about Keemstar that were rightfully correct, especially how he deals with things and handled things, especially with money. But I think I was talking to somebody else about that. I feel like he went back and forth from trying to make a moral case. Whereas I did compare it to Ruby, with no offense. Like I like Ruby and everything. Ruby does try to make a moral case about a lot of things, but I think with Ruby, she's at least tried to be consistent about those things and doesn't like flip flop. She's very consistent, right? You will always hear Ruby be kind of consistent about this stuff. And obviously, I forgot to mention early on the stream, the actual opinion about the Michael situation. With obviously, she's gonna defend Michael for very clear reasons. Take that as it is. And there was some shit talking about Queens, and they also did mention that they are trying to change up the schedule, so they may not be doing a 5-day stream, they may be doing 4. I'm not sure about Roxy, where she's gonna be at this point. And the fact that Becky even mentioned that, oh yeah, you know, she even thought about having Roxy and Savage become the main show, which is just crazy. That is 100% just a little nutty in my opinion. That isn't Supreme Queen meant to be the main show and not Roxy and Savage? I'm sorry, but that's like a bad decision in general. It's like if Keemstar decided, yeah, we're gonna make Nerds the main show. And then I think that I was talking to someone about this. It just kind of comes down to you're whining and complaining about the LCU, which she has every right to. I'm not going to take that away from her. She has every right to, and I will give her props and credit for that. Right before anybody says anything. On the other hand, she also, it's like, okay, move on. Who cares? You're just looping the loop, but then again, we all loop, so that's not a point against her. That's a point against everybody, even me and myself. And then she looked at the numbers and money, but then like, well, if people were to do the same and discover, because he made the case, he made a statement about Argentinian people giving, people using like can't remember what it is, but there are people that do use like Argentinian currency to give out donation. Now, from what I understand, YouTube has cracked down on that big time. If they are, it's kind of messed up to overinflate your membership, but like, let's be fair, when you deal with certain big time streamers, it's kind of known that they do overinflate their number. That's not something unheard of. Is it surprising the LCU does that? Not really. Again, my standard and how I view the LCU is so low that them doing something like that, it's kind of something I expected, right? But I mean, you can apply that too to Becky. And then she kind of complained about how the LCU, like how the LCL makes like $100,000 a month, which is like, okay. And now, whether or not I think Keemstar to be taking 25% of the other shows, I mean, it's his network. It's his shows in the end. It's not the actual host. There's just employees. So I don't really care. It's his show. It's his network. Like it's you see that with any network. You see that with any company. It's like, what do you expect? Like, and I will always say that if any of these hosts went out to do their own stuff, they will not get the same amount of viewership or audience. And with Becky, I think she got lucky because there was enough people that were willing to follow her, but a lot of her numbers were dropping. But then again, it was a big week last week for the LCU. But let's see what happened this week, and it probably, maybe things will go back to a little normality. Donations were pretty high today, but were they high? Are they going to be like that forever? It's like this back and forth where there was good points on both sides, but in the end of the day, it's like it's all about just how long can you yourself last. And if you can't last, and you're gonna keep pulling stuff where, donation, like that was only a one time thing last week, perfectly fine. But if it's a recurring thing, you're gonna have problems, and I think those problems are showing. Now, I think she made a good point about the foundation. Fair enough. But, I mean, if I learn anything from the misunderstood, they don't last too long. But in the end of the day, we'll wait and see what happens when things come. Till next time. God bless.